Everybody, this is the KHDM Chronicles. I am your host, the KHDM Natan. Coming out of the cage today to discuss player essentials, what a player should and should not have at the gaming table, in my opinion. Honestly, what it comes down to is what the DM feels is okay to have at the table. I know I promised this last week on the 4th of July. I got lost in the excitement of 4th of July, and I was going to do an episode on that Friday, but I was completely caught up with a number of other things, and then by that point I just completely forgot. So, at any rate, let's get to the show. First things first, dice, okay? I mean, that's basic. I mean, with Dungeons and Dragons, there's 6 dice. The D4, the D6, the D8, the D10, the D12, and then of course your D20. If you're playing Pathfinder, or some older D&D versions, because I know 4th edition and next edition, they don't have a 7th die, but like 3.5 and under, I've seen games where they'll use the percentage die, as I call it. And the percentage die basically is used for determining who gets what loot, or in some cases, I've seen it used to determine success, where skills would be more used. Like, I've seen it used in 4th edition, but it's not how I read is supposed to play. And how I run my games as a result is, it's more, you roll the d20 instead of rolling percentage, getting a 50, and them getting a 2. Whereas with the d20, no, I rolled a 20, and I lost it. 20, gosh, get it on the screen. That sucks. That's not the 20. There we go. Take my word for it. The camera angle, it's too, yeah. But yeah, at any rate, the D20, easiest way to go for D&D. I mean, that's the D20 system, okay? You use D20 for your skills, not percentage. Excuse me. At any rate, I know I've seen like the D6 system where you just use 6-sided dice. Yahtzee. But there's games like the D6 series where it's a bunch of different settings and setups. Like there's fantasy, there's modern, there's space. I know a lot of people run D6 Star Wars using the space, and that's cool because I love Star Wars, and I would love to see a Star Trek. If someone can recommend me a good Star Trek D6 or any Star Trek tabletop, that would be cool. I'm a huge Trek fan, huge Star Wars fan, so I don't take a side on that one. Both are great. It doesn't matter what you say, both are great. Because it's better to stay neutral than fight. Okay, dice, check. This is my folder full of characters. A bunch of character sheets. Yeah. There we go. And in my opinion, this is essential. I'm starting to get the feeling that I did this already, but if that's the case, then I'll do DM stuff here in a minute. But, character sheets are definitely necessary because you need to keep track of what your character does and their abilities. And that would bring me to what I've got listed as last, but it's really goes hand in hand with character sheets. Ability cards. You can, for 4th edition, you can get them out of booster packs at a game store that carries them, or you can buy them online, or, you know, stuff. The character builder has character sheets that you print out with the cards attached. You just gotta know to cut them out. I never knew that you could do that with those, and then I realized, oh hey, that's what the PAX guys are using. That's what Acquisitions Inc. uses for their powers. It's printed out for them. They just chop them up, stick them in card sleeves with a backing of some kind, and flip them and play them and all that jazz. Maybe they tape them or glue them to index cards. I don't know. But I would recommend index cards if you don't have like a printer. Just write the abilities down on index cards. It's tedious, I'll grant you, but it's better to be tedious and get it done and have them than not knowing what your abilities do when you're at the table. You'd go like, I use Freezing Burst. Okay, what if no one knows what that does? And they're looking at you like, what does that do? Yeah, I don't know. You don't want to go looking around. I mean, Freezing Burst, it's a d20 plus your intelligence against the enemy reflex, and it's 1d6 plus the intelligence modifier, cold damage, and you swipe the target 1 square. I don't know if that's how it goes in the full game, or if that's just unique to the red box, but that's how it goes. And also with these ability cards, there's item cards, which is very useful. There's also like second wind, like the DM kit has action point tokens. So did the red box. The monster kit did not, and I was depressed. I wanted more of those tokens because they're so useful to have. And if the players keep hitting milestone after milestone after milestone, just like, here you go, here you go, here you go. But that's only if you're doing like a marathon session, and I don't see anyone doing like 10, 12-hour sessions. But like, I would definitely have this sort of stuff on hand with me at a con, at any time I'm sitting at a table, ready to play. If it's a live, if it's a virtual table, you know, I've obviously got my character sheet ready on the table with the abilities set. So, but like for sure have all that ready. Because knowing what your character does is half the battle. The other half is playing your character, how the class is supposed to be played, according to your guys' personality as well. Obviously, you built the character how you want to play it, so you just got to play it that way. The moves count too. So like if you play a thief to be a thief, be a thief. You know, if you don't want to be a thief, don't build the rogue, don't build the thief. If you want to be up front fighting, you know, build a fighter. Build the warrior, for crying out loud. Be the guy with the friggin' big sword that's just like hacking away, swinging for the fences, that sort of thing. But if you're going to be a rogue, be a rogue. Look for traps. Shank people, you know. Roll to steal, for crying out loud. Don't play your rogue character as a fighter. Don't play your fighter character as a rogue. In my online party, there's a monk that can be a thief because of his high stealth, high thievery. It's so weird to see a monk that's a thief. I mean, I see that, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, of course, that party's now level 9. I threw him up against 2 liches, one was stronger than the other, but I didn't expect him to survive either fight. Whew, I should have known better. I should have known better. That party was just, I should have known better. Those guys were too good for me to even nerf the stronger ones slightly, okay? I mean, I took a little too much off. I told him I was taking off 5, but I was a little nicer than that, took off a little bit more. Netos, if you watch this video for next time, a little bit of a confidence booster, but don't expect that next time. You guys are too good. You guys are way too good for me to be being that soft on you. So, don't expect it again. I mean, y'all took on the original Lich without any nerf. So, don't expect me to play soft next time you run against a Lich. If you see a Draco Lich, run for the frickin' hills. I ain't playing soft. I ain't gonna try and kill you, but I ain't gonna nerf. No more nerfs. The dice fall, you know. Sorry. Okay. Oh, at any rate, next item on the list, pencil. Simple as that. Write down changes to your HP, check off abilities that are used unless you're using the power cards, so you can just flip them over. Simple as that. That goes hand in hand with the character sheet as well, and so does having a spiral for your notes. Write down notes of your quests, you know, save the room on the character sheet for like writing down like major quests. Like with my players, they're already almost Paragon tier. Their current quest involves killing a guy who's serving Orcus. That's their overall goal, and it's being driven home that Orcus is the big bad guy. I mean, every time they fight somebody, like, Orcus gets brought up. I hate Orcus, that's why I want to kill him. He looks so weird, okay? He looks so weird. I cannot stand Orcus. He just looks repulsive. I mean, that's the idea. I mean, he's supposed to be this guy of this demon of the undeath, so you're gonna want to kill him, which is awesome. Kill the bad guys. And I went with Orcus just because of the fact that one of the guys serves the Raven Queen. It's the only reason why. I'm not gonna lie. One of our guys serves the Raven Queen. It's like fine. It's fine. You know, serve Raven Queen. You're fighting Orcus. You know, party. Depending on your role-playing game, because this could be Star Wars, D&D, Pathfinder, Vampire the Masquerade, D6. Have a rule book handy. Have the rules compendium handy, whatever edition of D&D you're playing. The core rule book for Pathfinder, Star Wars, new one, but there's like various different books you can have for the older versions. The D6 and Pathfinder, just Vampire, just have those books. Do your DM a favor, have those books. I mean, we're supposed to be the referee, yes, but it would help us if you knew those rules, or if you had a way to verify those rules. If we house rule something, if we DMs house rule something, you know, if it overwrites a rule in the rule book, ignore that rule. One thing I don't like the idea of dealing with is a player that will bring up the fact that a house rule collides and clashes with a rule in the book. The house rule was made to change that rule. because obviously that rule is not working, so the house rule overrules that rule. The DM controls the game in the sense that we run the story in terms of setting, baddies, NPCs, traps, treasures, fortune, poverty, etc. The players run what happens based on their choices. You know, the choices set up the game. And so, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. There's no escaping that. But, either way, it's just... Excuse me. These guys, or not these guys, the rule book is really necessary because it's easier to deal with knowing the rules. It's easier for a DM to deal with people who know the rules and accept that a house rule changes one of the rules than for someone to come in the game thinking they know the rules, trying to be a rules lawyer, or coming in not knowing the rules, not knowing really how to play. I mean, if it's a first-time player, that's acceptable. If it's someone who keeps playing the game on a regular basis and still makes the same mistakes regarding the same rules over and over again, that's my mindset, that's my outlook on it. So, do the DMs a favor, have the rules compendium. It's a huge help. Next, and the last do have at the table for players, the handbooks. Okay, the handbooks have a lot of the rules. The rule books, rule compendiums usually have updated rules, but like these have the powers if you don't have the ability cards. If you have the rule books, if you have the handbooks corresponding to your players' abilities, bring those to the table. Use those to track your abilities. Have notes written down what pages your abilities are on, how many uses they get. Encounters usually 1 or 2, or if a feat gives you bonus uses of that power, then mark that down with the feat. Write down what your feats do. Backgrounds, themes, etc. It's 4th edition, mind you. But like in other games, it's still so helpful to have those books, because it's just as useful as the rules compendium, and those can go hand in hand. Those handbooks, the handbooks and the rule books, sometimes they're the same book. Other times they're separate books. Utilize those. Take advantage of that. I mean, it's a few more bucks, but it makes it so quicker to get through the game, to get to the heart of the game, and to really enjoy it, to really roleplay, to really fight, and that's the thing. Like, my players know their stuff. I mean, they probably have handbooks with them and whatnot, and that's awesome. I love the idea of that they have those handbooks, because it's so helpful for me as a DM, because I don't have to worry at that point. They've got the books. They know what they're doing. Okay, great. Otherwise, it's just, excuse me. At any rate, that's the do's. The don'ts. Don't have a handheld gaming device. Game Boy, DS, PlayStation Portal, PlayStation Vita, 3DS, some old school handheld gaming device, like smartphones. But I'll get more into smartphones in a minute. But like the normal ones from that built up from like the Game Boy. All those original handhelds that, built up into what they are, please, for the love of God, do not have those at the table. You are not there to play these games. You're at the table to play the role play. You're at the table to play the game. If you're playing a modern setting and the DM allows that because, hey, that's just one of your character quirks, that's what the DM decides. But if you're playing a fantasy setting, there's no room for a PlayStation Portable, a Game Boy, or a DS, a 3DS at the game table. I mean, if it's an iPod that's got fantasy music that you're using to set the tone, to help the DM set the tone, or if the DM's got it, great. But otherwise, just no gaming devices, please. Don't have unrelated books at the table. Like, if you got a comic book, or you got, I guess the Bible's not too bad. That's Christian preference for me. But you got, say, Lord of the Rings. You've got, you know, Narnia, Ranger's Apprentice, Shonen Jump or something, Rainbow Six, Moneyball, Lemmy Snicket, Twilight. You know, for the love of God, please leave those books at home or on the bookshelf if you're hosting but not DMing. It's another distraction. Don't bring friends that aren't going to play. Or don't have friends over there going to play. And also, don't host the week you know you've got family over that are going to interfere. Because you don't want that kind of distraction. I mean, it's tough on the DM, it's tough on the other players. If you know family's going to be an issue, find some way to minimize the risk, the dangers of that. Do as much as you can with your family before, and if they know, and hopefully they know, hey, I'm going to be hanging out with my friends for a bit. After that, I'm clear. You know, work that out. It is harder when you're a parent. I understand that. I'm not a parent myself, but I know from watching, it's tough being a parent. Kids make it so stressful on their parents. I do that. I've done that, and I don't like it because it's just not respectful. But you know, there is stress to parenting, and it can get in the way of playing D&D. I do understand that. Just do the best you can to minimize that as much as possible for the game. The point of the game is to get away in order to relax. If you're bringing that to the table, you're cramping the game. Cell phones, laptops, tablets. If you've got all the stuff, like if it's a smartphone like an iPhone or an Android, and you can put like PDFs on there or download the books on there if you bought the books, and you can get them on there. Or you keep your notes on the phone, or laptop or tablet, you know, go for it. If you've got your character sheet on the computer because you can't print it out, use that. Or if you've managed to get it to be read on the tablet, great. But otherwise, you know, don't let those be a distraction. Do not be goofing off on the phone, like texting. Like I did that in my first couple of sessions of playing the game last year. It's distracting. I noticed how distracting it can be. And it's not cool. So, yeah, at any rate, do yourself a favor and avoid being a distraction with technology, but you can use it if you feel like it's helpful. So yeah, that has been the KHDM's Players' Do's and Do Nots for items at the table. Next time I'll have more more DM 101. But until next time, I'm back in the cage. This is KCM, and I'm signing off. See you, everybody.